Good evening. I'm Suzannah Glidden with STOP, the Algonquin Pipeline Expansion. We've gathered here to call for the withdrawal of the fatally flawed, incomplete Draft Environmental Impact Statement, the DEIS, issued by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC, on Spectra Energy's Algonquin Incremental Market natural gas pipeline expansion project known as AIM. The DEIS cites numerous studies and reports underway, but not yet finished or included. Most glaring is the absence of a comprehensive assessment of the unacceptably dangerous siting of this massive 42-inch diameter pipeline under extreme high pressure right next to Indian Point Nuclear Facility, 1,500 feet away, and its 40 years of spent fuel rods unprotected. Also to intersect nearby with two proposed megawatt electric lines, and furthermore, all within the seismic zone of not one but two earthquake fault lines, the Ramapo and the Peekskill-Stamford line. As the public is granted only one chance to comment on FERC's environmental review, we call for those studies and reports to be finished and a supplemental DEIS issued with a new comment period of not less than 90 days. The document will still be inadequate, however, unless FERC includes the requested independent and transparent baseline air testing and health and safety assessments called for by the public and elected officials. Approval permits from FERC and involved agencies beginning as soon as next month, October, must be withheld until those assessments are completed. Putnam and Westchester counties, tomorrow we hope Rockland, and pipeline towns of Cortlandt, Peekskill, Yorktown, and Somers, plus Phillipstown, passed resolutions calling for these assessments. They were submitted to FERC. Spectra said they weren't necessary, and FERC chose not to include them in this DEIS. This cannot stand. AIM plans to expand the Stony Point and Southeast compressor stations to gigantic sizes, with highly toxic emissions to grossly exceed threshold limits. And now we hear of another expansion, a second expansion on the same Algonquin pipeline and Southeast compressor station, called the Atlantic Bridge Project, already in preliminary stages but not mentioned in this DEIS. These and many other irregularities demand the withdrawal of this deficient DEIS and a supplemental DEIS issued with all outstanding issues plus a new comment period. After supplying New England consumers, this proposed huge new supply of gas is to be exported to foreign countries around the world from liquid natural gas export terminals in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Unless this project is turned back, we are to be used as a conduit for corporate export profit at the expense of our safety, our health, reduced property values, and quality of life. We're very grateful that our elected officials are concerned about keeping us safe and count on their influence to obtain the necessary supplementary DEIS and the assessments called for. Here to speak first is our New York State Assembly member, Sandra Galiff.
Thank you so much. Grandmas against expansion, I'm one of those. Thank you so very much for being here. And I am one of the elected officials that have signed on to a letter with many of my colleagues to say we need more information, we need more facts, we need FERC to slow this whole process down before they ever give a positive consideration of this, and hopefully they don't. I am not in favor of this expansion. I represent a lot of the communities along this line, whether it's Buchanan, Verplank, into Cortland, Peekskill, and I used to represent Yorktown, not so far as you are, but it has gone through many, many, many communities. And there's just, to me, it is an accident waiting to happen or a recipe for disaster. You can't have this huge energy center placed on, and I've been out on the property, with coming across the river with all of this intense energy production or transmission in one area. You just can't do it with a nuclear plant down the line. My testimony today is going to, because we only have 3 minutes to testify, I guess, is going to be about the nuclear side of it, because I have written to FERC and I've asked them back in January that before they take any action, any further action, a study needs to be done by the NRC as to whether this gas pipeline would have any negative aspect to it for the health and safety of the people who live around it. And at this point, I have not seen that. And, you know, it's so ironic. I've been here before, and it was all about the Public Service Commission looking at the West Point Partners issue. And, you know, it's the same issue. I've been here before with the NRC. And before the NRC can even get a new license, they have to have approval by the DEC. And yet, we're here, and there's no approval at all from the NRC as one of the component parts. So I'm very pleased to be part of this very strong coalition, and I thank you very much for asking me.
Thank you, Sandy, so much. And now I'd like to introduce the Village of Buchanan Mayor, Teresa Knickerbocker.
Knickerbocker, yes. An old Dutch name, thank you. An old New York name. Hi, we're here today to oppose this pipeline.
Closer to the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're here today to oppose this pipeline. We have grave concerns with the health, safety, and the welfare of our community. One of my biggest concerns is that this pipeline is going to go within 450 feet from our Buchanan Verplank school. Also, that, you know, we've got to be concerned for our children. This is a huge safety issue. Also, we have a proposed pigging station that is going to be placed in the Village of Buchanan. And as everyone knows, it's a blow-off station, and what happens, the particulate that's in the gas, carcinogens, will be spewed into the environment. And, you know, I have residents that live there, you know, so it's a safety and health issue and also a quality of life for us. So we're here all together. We're a lot of people here. We're strong opposing this, and we will be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I see. Linda Puglisi, would you like to say a few words as Supervisor of Cortland? We're so grateful you could come. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for being here for this very important FERC public hearing. On behalf of the Cortland community, on behalf of our families, on behalf of our children, our grandchildren, I'm here opposing this expansion, this huge expansion of the Spectra/Algonquin pipeline. It's going in too close proximity to an elementary school, only about 500 feet. It crosses not one but two fault lines. It goes in close proximity to the two nuclear plants that are located in the Village of Buchanan and the town of Cortland. We have two nuclear plants out of the 103 nuclear plants in the entire country. We've done more than our fair share to provide energy in our community, in our region, in our state.
Yes.
We do not need to become the energy capital of America.
Yes.
This pipeline, I can talk louder than them.
Go for it.
Yes, you can.
By the way, we support jobs all over our community, not just with this project, however. Not with this project. This is not the right project for our community.
Yes.
Spectra says that they want to expand this pipeline to meet the needs of New England. Well, then we say, go to New England. Don't come to Cortland, Village of Buchanan, our schools, impacting a very, very historic church. Most importantly, impacting our homeowners, our business people. We have done more than our fair share. I don't know how many times I have to say it. This gas is emanating from the state of Pennsylvania. It's fracked gas, which impacts the environment. We oppose fracked gas. We do not need it coming through our community.
Yes.
If they need more gas in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, then take the project and go there.
That's right.
We are united. We support the people who are looking for jobs. We understand that, but this is not the right project for Cortland. I'm here supported by my town board who are here. We have passed a resolution opposing this. I'll be speaking tonight, as will they. I support everybody who's here today, and I thank all the volunteers who have worked so hard in helping us to fight this expanded, huge pipeline going from 26 inches to 42-inch pipeline. It's too big. And also a very important point is that the pressure of this new pipeline would increase by 25%. Try to put that near an elementary school. Our children and our grandchildren would be in harm's way. We cannot allow that to happen. We're united, and we're going to continue to fight this just like we fought the Millennium Pipeline 10 years ago. It took us all 9 years to fight that. We won, and we're going to continue to fight this for all the reasons and all the good reasons that everybody have said here today. We'll see you inside. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, hon. Thank you. And now we're very happy to also present the mayor of Peekskill, Frank Catalina.
All right, Frank.
There's not a lot more that I can add to this except to tell you that the city of Peekskill listened to both sides. We had them come in, we had questions, and quite frankly, we did not get answers. When you don't know what your liability insurance is, you should not come to Peekskill. When you don't know who's going to pay for the damage to the roads, damage to private property, access to build this, you should not come to Peekskill. I've directed our city attorney to file as an intervener in the federal action.
Wonderful. 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 Wonderful.
And only 1/10 of 1 mile is in the city of Peekskill, but we will have standing to challenge this every step of the way until every single question is answered to our satisfaction. God bless you. Oh, I find it despicable that our fathers and uncles and brothers and cousins are turned against us because we don't want this job at this time with these unanswered questions. We are union people. We are union workers. And it's despicable for this company to come in here and make this community upside down, neighbor against neighbor, brother against brother, when that's not the issue here. So God bless you all. We want jobs too. We want jobs.
Thank you, Frank. Now, Kathy Talbot, also of Peekskill Common Council, will speak next.
Not even from our area.
Yes, I stand here today to offer my opposition to this project.
Real close, Kathy.
It's a poorly thought out project. It's poorly conceived, and certainly the paperwork and the people who came to talk to the City Council in Peekskill were not answering our questions at all to our satisfaction. I have deep concerns for the following: personal and property safety, adequate infrastructure damage coverage, the impact on home sales, environmental concerns, analysis of our fire equipment and proper training for our fire personnel, impact on the pipeline's proximity to the Entergy Indian Point Nuclear Facility and river. I'm urging them tonight not to approve this DEIS until these issues are resolved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. And now from my own hometown, we're very grateful to have with us Councilmember Amy Rosemarin from North Salem.
Hi, I'm from North Salem, and North Salem is the town next to Southeast where the compressor station is located. Our highest density population is right on the border of Southeast, just a couple of miles from the compressor station. I'm concerned for the health and safety of our residents. At the end of July, our supervisor, Warren Lucas, sent an email to FERC asking them to notify the town of North Salem if there is an intent to do a blowdown of the pipeline and within 30 minutes following an unplanned full or partial blowdown. We got a letter from them saying that since North Salem is not, since the line is not going through North Salem, notification is neither required nor necessary. I'm looking out for the health and safety of the North Salem residents and urge Spectra to notify us. I believe that notification should be given to those who could be affected, regardless of town boundaries. Movement of airborne toxins are not limited by town boundaries.
Hear, 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 hear.
Furthermore, I call for an independent, transparent, and comprehensive baseline air testing, risk and health assessments. These assessments are necessary to protect the public health and safety and are not included in FERC's DEIS. Until they are completed and reviewed by elected officials and the public, I call upon involved agencies to withhold approval permits.
Yay! 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 Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And now, from the village of Ossining, we have trustee Victoria Garrity. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you very much, Susan. We have been told repeatedly that natural gas is an essential bridge fuel to renewable energy. It is not. The energy infrastructure as it currently exists will meet our needs as we transition off of fossil fuels toward renewable energy. My name is Victoria Garrity. I'm an Ossining Village trustee and candidate for mayor. Municipalities like Ossining and others across Westchester are taking action to get off fossil fuels and expand our renewable energy resources. The AIM project does not provide a public convenience, nor is it necessary. It serves one purpose: to benefit shareholders of an energy company. But it does so at the risk of my family, my community, and this beautiful Hudson Valley we all live in. Westchester communities are moving rapidly toward reducing our dependence on carbon and nuclear-based energy sources. My home is one of 7 just this year in a 2-block radius that has gotten solar on our rooftop. In fact, in 2013 and 2014, the village of Ossining has approved 32 new solar installations, and the Solarized Westchester program that launched last week is going to help Westchester move even faster down that path. Also, very soon you are going to see municipalities moving forward with significant solar installations. This is thanks to a collaboration between the New York Power Authority and the leaders of Sustainable Westchester. And it is thanks to the incredible progress of Energize New York that properties of all kinds are now now becoming more energy efficient and reducing our dependence on energy. And the growing prevalence of green building practices and regulations in Westchester communities further supports our region's commitment to greater efficiency and decreased dependence on fossil fuels.
Amen, amen.
It is smart and decisive actions by Westchester municipalities and organizations like Sustainable Westchester and Solarized Westchester that is making renewable energy sourcing in our region a fast-growing reality. The AIM project creates a potential for catastrophic environmental devastation, and the protections of its impact cannot be guaranteed. Our land and water here in New York are incredibly valuable resources. Our health, our welfare, and our economy rely on a protected and thriving economy. This project poses unnecessary risk to a region that is already on its way to reducing our dependence on fossil fuels. For these reasons and many more, I ask that the AIM project not move forward.
Thank you, Victoria. And now from the village of Buchanan, Councilmember Dwayne Jackson.
Thank you so much. And thank all of you for coming out today. You know, there are folks down in Washington, D.C. that think it's over with, that local communities have no say-so in what's going on in our own backyard.
Right on.
We are demonstrating here today that that's not true. The fix is not in. We are here giving support to each other, all communities. Whether it's Peekskill, Yorktown, Salem, Ossipee, Buchanan, the town of Cortland, we are going to show the people here and now that we are together. We speak with one voice, and it's been said over and over again. How much more are you going to put in our little Hudson Valley area? We've got the nuclear power plant. We've got an earthquake fault. Now we're getting a 42-inch line. Enough is enough. Our children at the Buchanan Verplank School are very close to this new line they're proposing, and it's just not right. We're going to fight this. I want everyone to start their letter campaign to our senators at the federal level, Gillibrand and Senator Schumer, because this cannot stand. We've got to stop this in its track and make sure it doesn't go any further.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you so much. Now, from the town of Cortland, Councilwoman Debbie Costello.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out. This is a wonderful turnout, and it's such an important cause. We need to stop the Algonquin Pipeline from coming through our community. As you know, most Americans don't trust the federal government, and most of them think that they won't listen to the average citizen. We're here to make them listen, and it's our hope that with all of you speaking and with this outpouring of support from all of the communities around, that together we'll be able to make them listen. Let's just say that I'm asking them to restore our faith in government. They need to listen to what we're saying and do what's right. It's wrong to have a pipeline within feet of an elementary school. It's wrong to put a pipeline next to a nuclear power plant. It's wrong to put a pipeline in a community that's already burdened with the gypsum plant, the nuclear power plant, the garbage burning plant. Sorry. It's wrong to put it in all of these places. It's wrong to put it next to put the pipeline next to a few feet away from the storage of spent fuel rods. It's wrong to put a gas line along the Ramapo fault line. The consequences of an explosion are unimaginable. Let me say that again. The consequences are unimaginable. We cannot let this happen. It's wrong to take that chance. It's wrong to destroy our community. They have the power to do what's right. Let's see if they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. And also from Cortland, we have Councilmember Seth Freach. Seth?
Thank you, and thank you everyone for being here. As Debbie and Supervisor Puglisi said, we in Cortland have been opposing this project in this place at this time for quite a while now. Most of you know that this project is going to take existing 26-inch pipeline and replace it with 42-inch pipeline, and that's the case throughout most of the project, but not in Cortland. Cortland is unique in that we get replacement pipeline, but we also get brand new pipeline. Brand new 42-inch pipeline where no pipeline ever existed before. Brand new pipeline next to an elementary school. Brand new pipeline next to a church. Brand new pipeline going through a ball field. Brand new pipeline next to a nuclear power plant. This DEIS that the FERC public hearing is listening to comments on tonight doesn't even address those factors. It merely states in the DEIS that Further consultation should occur in the future, and they should file the reports based on those outcomes. How is the public supposed to have a chance to comment on an incomplete DIS that isn't finished, that doesn't speak to the safety and security of our families in our town where brand new 42-inch maximum pressure gas pipelines are being laid? We are here to ask for an extension in public comment period time, and we're here to ask for more public information and the complete comprehensive study to be done on how this project will impact other energy infrastructure in the region and the families and schools and churches and neighborhoods that it crosses. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And now, a superintendent of the Hendrick Hudson School District, Joe Hochreiter.
Good evening, and thank you for attending. I want to echo briefly the comments of those that spoke before me and offer a different perspective. I would suggest that our community is at a crucial point in its history. Our schools are at a tipping point. As superintendent of schools and the hundreds of staff that we employ, every day we work to keep kids safe. I can tell you that as the superintendent, I can't guarantee that right now. I had the opportunity to meet with Spectra today. I find them to be decent people. I'm sure the men and women who would work on the pipeline are decent people. However, what we know is not as important as what we don't know. A pipeline that would run within 500 feet of a school is unacceptable. My job is to ensure the safety of not only our 2,500 kids in our school district and our 300 at Buchanan Verplank Elementary School. My job is to ensure the safety of thousands of kids in the years to come, and that can't happen with this proposal. We call, as many of us do, we call on more information, we call on more studies, we call on more transparency to make sure that all of us are using the same language and all of us can move together forward, but we can at that time. And on behalf of 2,500 students in our school district, I implore FERC and every other agency to do its due diligence on behalf of thousands of kids we educate and thousands more yet to step foot in our schools. Thank you.
Now we're pleased to have residents who represent various groups. First is Lisa McKay, representing Keep Yorktown Safe. Lisa.
Yorktown will be hit twice. First by the Algonquin project, and then by the newly announced Atlantic Bridge project. This pipeline crosses all of Yorktown, goes right through neighborhoods, parks, our sports fields, and Spectra has broken up this same full pipeline expansion into two phases in Yorktown. This is called segmentation, and it's illegal because it does not allow us to review the combined overall impacts that these projects will have on our community in its totality. I would like to introduce Yorktown Town Councilman Vishnu Patel, who has worked diligently to make sure that the residents of Yorktown are kept safe.
Good evening. Spectra, all that glitters is not gold. We need the complete DEIS. DEIS said there is no stormwater plan. It hasn't been submitted yet. Picking station and industrial construction yard are due to be located on a sensitive parkland in Yorktown and located in the Cortlandt watershed. How can we comment intelligently on a report that we don't have? Public needs to know. Public Spectra, public needs to know how this may impact the watershed for 9 million people of the New York City and surrounding community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vishnu. And now a parent of a future Buchanan Verplank Elementary School student, Courtney Williams.
Hi everyone, my name is Courtney Williams. My daughter is set to start kindergarten at Buchanan Verplank Elementary School in the fall of 2015. despite Spectra Algonquin's assertion in the Journal News on Saturday that they're going right into that same ditch, this proposed route from Stony Point through Verplanck and Buchanan is not in the existing right-of-way. The existing pipeline is 1,500 feet from Buchanan-Verplanck. The new route, only 450 feet from the school. We know from peer-reviewed scientific literature that a rupture at that proximity would mean a 100% fatality rate for anyone outdoors unprotected, such as the children and staff at Buchanan-Verplanck Elementary School.
Unacceptable.
On the playground.
Unacceptable.
What we don't know is the risk of this happening. That's because it's not in the draft EIS. Despite requests from the counties and municipalities, Spectra has not shown any data regarding the risk this new pipeline poses to the elementary school staff and students, or really anyone living near it at all. Also unknown is the health impact of short-term construction and long-term emissions from the Stony Point compressor station less than 5 miles from 3 of the schools in the Hendrick-Hudson School District.
Yes.
We don't know these risks because Spectra has refused requests for air quality and health impact assessments. No one would consider building an elementary school 450 feet from a natural gas pipeline. Yet Spectra proposes to build a massive pipeline next to our elementary school without providing any transparent and independent risk and health impact assessments.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Tonight, I will stand with other parents and demand FERC either withdraw the draft EIS and complete it with the data that we need to evaluate this plan, or choose the no-build option in light of the fact that it is preposterous to sandwich a 42-inch natural gas pipeline between an elementary school and a critical electrical grid substation, all next to a nuclear power plant 35 miles north of one of America's largest cities. I hope you all will stand with me.
We do. And now to speak to us from Food and Water Watch, Alex Beecham.
Great, thanks so much. Thanks for having me. I'm Alex Beecham. I'm the Northeast Region Director at Food and Water Watch. I'm here today to urge FERC to stop the Algonquin Pipeline Extension. There's not much I can add to what folks have already said. The pipeline poses extreme threats to our health, to our safety, to our environment. You really don't need me here to tell you that running a massive 42-inch pipeline that's going to carry fracked natural gas right next to the Indian Point nuclear facility is a terrible idea, but it is a terrible idea. One thing people haven't brought up is it also goes across the Catskill Aqueduct. I don't know if folks know this is a vital piece of the New York City water supply. Someone earlier mentioned over 9 million people depend on that, and FERC has completely disregarded it and really not assessed what risks this project might pose to New York City's water supply at all. This is extremely, extremely troubling. The bottom line is that this draft environmental impact statement is fatally flawed. It absolutely has to be withdrawn, and we have to start over again. The last thing I'll say is that we're doing this, the risks are clear, right? The risks of the pipeline to local communities are enormously clear. But beyond all of that, this is just the wrong approach. It locks us in to more reliance on dirty fossil fuels that have got us into the climate crisis we find ourselves right now. And you don't solve that by locking us into years and years of more reliance on fracked natural gas at the exact moment where we absolutely have to be transitioning aggressively to renewable energy. So thanks so much for everyone being here, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Alex, so much. And now we have Nancy Van, concerned Peekskill residents and president of Reynolds Hill Community.
Thank you. Hi. Concerned Peekskill Residents is a group made up of 2 independent groups across the pipeline route from each other. We found out that we were both going to have the pipeline in our backyards and decided this is something that we can't allow. This pipeline will go through a wetland that has been studied by the Spectra people to see if there are any endangered species in that wetland, but the wetland research is classified. We don't even know. But more than that, in terms of Peekskill and the communities surrounding us, we in Peekskill are an environmental justice community. You might not have heard of environmental justice, but that's the process whereby people try to resist having too many things in too poor a community or too much of a minority community. Historically, it's been easiest for the government in this or private enterprise to bring dirty energy, dirty water projects, waste disposal projects into communities that have a majority of low income or minorities. That has to stop. That's probably one of the reasons that we already have so many things in this area. They thought, oh, well, those people won't mind. They're not going to stand up and fight us, but they certainly misjudged us. We are going to stand up and fight. We are going to get together and fight, and we will not quit until this pipeline does not go through Peekskill and our community and our backyard.
Hear, 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 hear. And now to wrap up our press event, we have Adrian O'Connor of Purdy's, New York. Adrian.
Hi, folks. So I'm here to represent the 26,000 people that have signed this petition against this pipeline. As people have said, mostly everything's already been said, but make that 26,020. You know, the people who have signed this petition realize there are better ways to get jobs than to put our families at increased risk. Obviously, the risk has been covered. I think people understand the risk now. Westchester County in general does not need to take that kind of risk to produce a couple of union jobs. We can make those jobs with clean, renewable energy sources and projects. Those are the jobs we want. Those are the jobs we need. Thank you very much. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you, Adrian. Just one more. We've just seen arrive our wonderful legislator, Mary Jane Shimsky. Mary Jane, you want to say a few words, and we thank you for your leadership.
Okay. Thank you, Suzannah. Thank you, everyone.
Real close.
As a society, we have historically been very bad at risk assessment. Especially, there's been a lot of studies on this recently, the low probability incident with disastrous consequences. Okay, and the problem is the regulations that allow this project to fall through the cracks when it comes to health and safety assessments are a product of that antiquated time. We really need to look at the health and safety aspects thoroughly and dispassionately with the best quality thinking we have available at the moment, and that's not reflected in the regulations that are in place now. We need to do this properly. We need to make it right. We need to protect our communities. We need jobs, but this is not the way to do them. There are so many infrastructure projects that need to be done that will not cause damage or disastrous consequences. So I hope we can get this done right.
Mary Jane, we do too. Catherine Parker, come up here for a last word, please. You've been very instrumental in pushing this along, for getting better assessments done. And we want to thank Mary Jane and especially you, Catherine.
Oh, thank you, Suzannah. Thank you. Let me first start by saying that, you know, I really look at this in common sense terms. You know, we understand that this is an important program, important expansion for an energy company. But we know that if you think about it in terms of a nuclear power plant, if you think about it in terms of 2 seismic faults, if you think about really the risk factors, we know that we need an independent eye to look at these and evaluate. It is an unusual circumstance, and we need to protect 1 million citizens in Westchester County and those citizens that are working on the project. As the Board of Legislators, we came together, Democrats and Republicans, and we all looked at this and voted in favor of a resolution to ask the federal agencies, to ask FERC for exactly that, and have Spectra pay for those. We need the independent health assessment. We need the independent review of Indian Point in relation to this gas pipeline. And as I say, this was a bipartisan agreement, and something that I think all the Westchester County Board of Legislators absolutely support the efforts of Suzannah and Susan and everyone else here from SAPE. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine, and we'll see